Okay, let's look at number 16 in section 5.4. We're going to evaluate this integral using FTC1, Fundamental Theorem of Calculus Part 1. And how do we go about doing that? Well, we need the antiderivative of this, okay? So how are we going to do that? Well, we need to simplify first. Recall that, first of all, the square root of x is x to the 1/2. So we're really dividing 2x plus 5 by x to the 1/2. So I can distribute that, right? Really, dividing by x to the 1/2 would be the same thing as multiplying by x to the negative 1/2, and we can distribute multiplication over addition. So I'm really going to divide 2x by the square root of x and 5 divided by the square root of x, right? And just add the result. Notice that I could add these two fractions together with this common denominator and get back to my original function that I'm integrating. Okay, simplify first now. X divided by x to the 1/2 is just x to the 1/2, right? Subtract the exponents there. And then 5 divided by x to the 1/2 is 5 times x to the negative 1/2. Now I can find my antiderivative and apply fundamental theorem of calculus part 1. So the antiderivative of the first term, 2 is the constant multiple. Power rule, right? Add 1 to a half gives me 3/2, and dividing by 3/2 is the same as multiplying by 2/3. There's my antiderivative for the first term. And then 5, pull that out. Antiderivative of x to the negative 1/2. Add 1 to negative 1/2 is positive 1/2. Dividing by a half is the same as multiplying by 2. I'll just clean this up. 2 times 2/3 is 4/3. 5 times 2 is 10, and I'll write x to the 1/2 as the square root of x. Now I evaluate this right at the upper limit of 4. So replace x with 4, and then minus evaluating at 1. Of course, when I plug in 1 here, I just get 4/3. So 1 to any power is 1. And here I get 10 times, of course, 1. So this is 4/3 plus 10. And here I can evaluate. Notice 4 to the 3/2 power. That's the square root of 4 cubed. That will be 2 cubed, or 8. So 8 times 4/3 is 32/3. Square root of 4 is 2, and so 10 times 2 is 20. 32/3 minus 4/3 is 28/3. 20 minus 10 is 10. And then I can add 28/3. 10 is 30/3. 28 plus 30 is 58/3. So there is the result. Again, your problem might be slightly different with the numbers, but again, the process of doing this by, simplifying this by distributing, in this case, the single monomial term we're dividing by, is the way to go. Hope this helps.